Etzion from Haifa, Israel, the 25th of October 2025. As usual, we start with musical piece. This piece was from 7 years ago. I have to double check what's going on if I didn't make a mistake. Yeah, got to mark. Well, here's the sound. We performed in the public domain for the community. It's the main square of Haifa. It's the main auditorium of Haifa. It's the top of the Carmel Mountain, as we call it. And this is, we participated in the movie festival. And if I'm not wrong, the name of the piece is the Kumbanchero. This is not the Kumbancho, I don't remember the name of the piece. But if you listen carefully, then you could note that here and there sometimes we are not perfectly tuned. When you listen to the concert and see, for example, 5 horns or 5 trumpets, a few instruments together, and you see one sound. It takes years to bring all these few people together. They play all the time, and you hear only one sound. And then what it is, it magnifies the sound. That's a big trouble of the conductor, our conductors. She's really, each week we get together next Sunday. She's working very, very hard to put us together. And this is just a hint about spiritual circles. I keep on saying it again and again. Why I bring these pieces of music for entertainment? Yes, why not? It's fun. For one, it's fun. But second, this has been our duty ever since to create spiritual circles. What happened in the sin of the Garden of Eden? We broke the spiritual circles. And then we died. When we died, don't advance spiritual path. That's death. That's the only death which exists. Humanity is going backwards on the design. The goal of humanity, by choice, to see the goal is the mineral kingdom. Plenty of mineral. We have a cellar full of gold. Then we are successful people. What happens after we drop the body? What is a success? It's total fail. The people don't understand what's going on with them. Whatever they do on earth goes from dust to dust. You see all these big empires, everybody is falling apart. We don't know what to do with this. We have all these arrangements on earth to bring peace. It's not going to work. As long as we will not redesign the spiritual circuits and spiritual governments, wars are an indication that this mechanism is not functioning. Whatever we do is doomed to fail. It's not going to happen. What's a problem? All of us want peace on earth, but there are laws. There are cosmic laws about this. Cannot just be trying to create our own false artificial world, so everybody will be happy. We live this short lifespan happy. What is being latent behind all this pursuit for happiness? I call it actually happy egoism. Let us be, all of us, be happily egoists. Make sure that everybody gets his share more or less. Everybody will be at least well fed and have clothes and shelter. We live a wonderful world. There's no, all this world not created, so people will eat and have a good time. That's not the purpose of creation. You don't understand, so it's too bad. It's not going to work. We'll continue reading now the Discourses of Meher Baba. The problem of Sanskaras is a key issue. Unfortunately, most people don't understand it. It's not an easy issue to understand, admittedly. If I have a little bit of understanding about this, it's not because I managed to read it 50 times and I absorbed it and adjusted it And I know it by heart, I don't know it by heart, but because Baba taught me how to deal with this issue, it is mainly because I got entangled with some problem. Doesn't matter why and what. I didn't know what to do with it. And then after I was eating the bad soup I cooked for myself, and he just walked in and started giving instructions what to do with it. I was sitting on my head day and night from 76 to 91, more fully 91. I was more or less established with all this business. This actually, many of us are doing it, unaware, just giving everything to him. But you have to learn to stop all this horrible thing of judgment, complaining, criticism of whatsoever the situation. Just give it to God. We see problems in the world. Whatsoever problems we see in the world, we have created it. We are responsible for everything. Okay, let me continue reading the next chapter of Sanskaras. Of course, I happen to have the Word document for whatever reason. I have no idea how it came to me. But you can download the PDF, the discourses from the Trust website, and of course, you can buy it if you like to hold the paper book in your hands and read. Some people prefer it this way, some like it this way. Of course, it's available. I like to read the things from the screen. You can magnify it more comfortable. Removal of Sanskaras, Part 2, the dispersion and exhaustion of Sanskaras. The end of Part 1, the methods of removing Sanskaras are explained that depend chiefly on the principle of negating the positive Sanskaras, which also veil the truth from consciousness and prevent self-illumination, for which the whole creation came into being. He's speaking here that we have also to negate the good sanskaras. And many of us think we do many good things. Good things put us under this presence of sanskaras as well, just the same. All these methods of negating the positive sanskaras are ultimately based upon the control of the body and mind. Control of the habitual tendencies of the mind is much more difficult than control of physical actions. The fleeting and evasive thoughts and desires of the mind can be curbed only with great patience and persistent practice. But the restraints of mental processes and reactions is necessary to check the formation of new sanskaras and to wear out or unwind the old sanskaras, which they are expressions. Though control might be difficult at the beginning, through sincere effort, it gradually becomes natural and easy to achieve. Control is deliberate and involves effort as long as the mind is trying to decondition itself through the removal of sanskaras. But after the mind is released from the sanskaras, control becomes spontaneous because the mind is then functioning in freedom and understanding. Such control is born of strength of character and health of mind. It invariably brings with it freedom from fear and immense peace and calmness. The mind, which appears feeble when it is wanton and uncontrolled in its functioning, becomes a source of great strength when it is controlled. Control is indispensable for the conservation of mental energy and the economical use of thought force for creative purposes. However, if control is purely mechanical and aimless, it defeats its own purpose, which is to make possible the free and unconditioned functioning of the mind. Control that has true spiritual value does not consist in the mechanical repression of thoughts and desires, but is a natural restraint exercised by perception of positive values discovered during the process of experience. True control is therefore not merely negative. Something here later. When some positive values come within the focus of consciousness, their claims for being expressed in life generate mental responses that ultimately remove all the tendencies obstructing a free and full expression of values. Thus, the tendencies for lust, greed, and anger are removed through an appreciative cognition of the value of a life of purity, generosity, and kindness. The mind becoming accustomed to certain habits of thought and response does not find it easy to adjust itself to these new claims of its own perceptions, owing to the inertia caused by impressions of previous modes of thought and conduct. This process of readjustment in the light of true values takes the form of what we call controlling the mind. This control is not a mechanical or forcible twisting of the mind. It is an effort of the mind to overcome its own inertia. It is fundamentally creative and not negative in its purpose, for it is an attempt of the mind to arrive at self-adjustment in order to release the expression of the true values of life. Creative control becomes possible because the source of light is within everyone, and though self-illumination is prevented by the veil of sanskaras, it is not all darkness, even within the boundaries of ordinary human consciousness. The ray of light consists of a sense of true values and guides man onward with varying degrees of clarity according to the thickness of the veil of sanskaras. The process of the negation of sanskaras is at the same time the process of understanding true values. Spiritual progress is thus characterized with the dual aspect of renouncing the false values of sanskaras in favor of the true values of understanding. The process of replacing lower values by higher values is a process of sublimation, which consists in diverting the mental energy locked up in the old sanskara onward, creative and spiritual ends. And this energy locked up in the sanskaras and thus diverted, they get dispersed and exhausted. The method of sublimation is the most natural and effective method of breaking through the grooves of old sanskaras, and has a special advantage of having an unfailing interest for the aspirant at all stages. The method of mere negation without any substitution is sometimes likely to be boring and may seem to lead to vacuity, but the method of sublimation consists in replacing lower values with higher ones and is therefore full of absorbing interest to every stage, being an ever-increasing sense of fulfillment. Mental energy can be sublimated into spiritual channels through 1. Meditation, 2. Selfless service for humanity, and 3. Devotion. Meditation is deep and constant concentration upon an ideal object. In such concentration upon an ideal object, the person is conscious only of the object of meditation, completely forgetting the mind as well as the body. Thus, no new sanskaras are formed, and old ones are dispersed and exhausted through the mental activity of dwelling on the object of concentration. Finally, when sanskaras completely disappear, the soul, the individualized, is dissolved in the intensity of concentration, is merged in the ideal object. There are many forms of meditation according to the aptitude of different persons. The imaginative genius of persons who have to labor hard is often dried up due to overwork. For such persons, the form of meditation most suitable consists in disconnecting oneself from one's thoughts and then looking upon these thoughts and the body objectively. After the aspirant is successful in regarding his thoughts and his body with complete objectivity, he tries to identify himself with the cosmic being through constructive suggestions such as, I am the infinite, I am in everything, I am in all. Those who have vivid and lively imaginations can try intensive concentration of some point, but fixing the mind on some point should be avoided by those who have no liking for it. Ordinarily, the energy of the mind is scattered through its diverse thoughts. Meditation on a point is very salutary for the mind to gather itself and settle down. It is a mechanical process and therefore lacks creative and blissful experiences. However, in the initial stages, this form of meditation might be used as a preparation for other more successful forms of meditation. The most successful and deeper forms of meditation are preceded by deliberate and constructive thinking about God, the beloved. Meditation on God is spiritually most fruitful. God can become the object of meditation, either in his impersonal aspect or in his personal aspect. Meditation on the impersonal aspect of God is suitable only for those who have a special aptitude for it. Consists in focusing all thoughts on the abstract and unmanifest existence of God. On the other hand, meditation on the personal aspect of God consists in centering all thoughts upon the form and attributes of God. After intensive meditation, the mind might want to settle down, not on the object of meditation, but on the steadiness of the expansive peace experienced during meditation. Such moments are the natural result of the fatigue of the faculty of imagination. They should be effortlessly encouraged. Meditation should be spontaneous and not forced. The moments of the surging up of divine impulses, imagination should be let loose and allowed to soar. The flight of imagination should be controlled only by the set purpose of becoming one with the infinite. It should not be influenced by the currents of the diverse feelings of lust, greed, or anger. Success in concentration comes only gradually, and the novice is likely to be disheartened because he does not get satisfactory results in the beginning. Often the disappointment that he experiences is in itself a serious obstruction to beginning the meditation of the day and to persist in it. Other obstacles like idleness and ill health also may be difficult to overcome, but they can be gotten over by having fixed and regular hours. Regular hours for meditation, steady practice. During early morning or at sunset, the quiet condition of nature is particularly helpful for meditation. But it may also be undertaking at any other suitable time. Solitude is one of the essential conditions for attaining success in meditation. The world of thought, there is a constant intermingling of thought forms and colors. So mighty ideas tend to strengthen the mind by facilitating integration, whereas some frivolous thoughts are dissipating. The mind is either attracted or repelled by these diverse thoughts in the mental environment. It is advisable to avoid the influence of these variegated thoughts in order to get established one's own ideal thoughts. For this purpose, solitude has immense possibilities. Solitude means economy of mental energy and increased power for concentration. Having nothing extraneous to attract or repel the mind, you are drawn inward, another art of opening yourself to the higher currents, which have the potency of giving you strength, bliss, and peaceful expansiveness. While meditation on the personal and impersonal aspects of God requires withdrawal of consciousness into the sanctuary of one's own heart, concentration on the universal aspect of God is best achieved through selfless service for humanity. When a person is completely absorbed in the service of humanity, he is completely oblivious of his own body or mind or their functions, as in meditation, and therefore new sanskaras are not formed. Further, the old sanskaras that bind the mind are shattered and dispersed. Then the individual is now centering his attention, interest, not upon his own good, but upon the good of others. The nucleus of the ego is deprived of its nourishing energy. Selfless service is therefore one of the best methods of diverting and sublimating the energy locked up in the binding sanskaras. Selfless service is accomplished when there is not slighted thought of reward or result, when there is complete disregard of one's own comfort or convenience or the possibility of being misunderstood. When you are wholly occupied with the welfare of others, you can hardly think of yourself. You are not concerned with your comfort and convenience of your health and happiness. On the contrary, you are willing to sacrifice everything for their well-being. Their comfort is your convenience, their health is your delight, and their happiness is your joy. You find your life in losing it in theirs. You live in their hearts, and your heart becomes their shelter. When there is true union of hearts, you completely identify yourself with the other person. Your act of help or word of comfort supplies to others whatever might be lacking in them. Through their thoughts of gratitude and goodwill, you actually receive more than you give. Thus, Through living for others, your own life finds its amplification and expansion. The person who leads a life of selfless service is therefore hardly conscious of serving. He does not make those whom he serves feel that they are in any way under obligation to him. On the contrary, he himself feels obliged for being given a chance of making them happy. Neither for show nor for name and fame does he serve them. Selfless service is completely achieved only when an individual derives the same happiness in serving others as in being served himself. The ideal of selfless service frees him from the sanskaras of craving for power and possession, of self-pity and jealousy, of evil deeds actuated through selfishness. Selfless service and meditation are both spontaneous when they are inspired by love. Love is therefore rightly regarded as being the most important avenue leading to the realization of the highest. In love, the soul is completely absorbed in the beloved and is therefore detached from the actions of the body or mind. This puts an end to the formation of new sanskaras and also results in the undoing of old sanskaras by giving to life an entirely new direction. Nowhere does self-forgetfulness come so naturally and completely as in the intensity of love. Hence, it has been given the foremost place among the methods that secure release of consciousness from the bondage of sanskaras. Love comprehends in itself the different advantages belonging to other paths leading to emancipation, is in itself the most distinguished and effective path. It is at once characterized by self-sacrifice and happiness. Its uniqueness lies in the fact that it is accompanied by an exclusive and wholehearted offering to the beloved, without admitting the claims of any other object. Thus, there is no room for the diversion of mental energy, and concentration is complete. In love, the physical, vital, and mental energies of man are all gathered up and made available for the cause of the beloved, with the result that this love becomes a dynamic power. The tension of true love is so great that any foreign feeling that might intervene is at once thrown out. The expulsive and purifying efficacy of love is unparalleled. There is nothing unnatural or artificial about love. It exists from the very beginning of evolution. At the inorganic stage, it is crudely expressed in the form of cohesion or attraction. It is the natural affinity that keeps things together and draws them to each other. The gravitational pull exercised by the heavenly bodies upon each other is an expression of this type of love. At the organic stage, love becomes self-illumined and self-appreciative and plays an important part from the lowest forms, like the amoeba, to the most evolved form of human beings. When love is self-illumined, its value is intensified by its conscious sacrifice. The sacrifice of love is so complete and ungrudging, it has all to give and nothing to expect. The more it gives, the more it wants to give, and the less it is aware of having given. The stream of true love is ever increasing and never failing. Its simple expression is its simple giving over. The complexities of the beloved are a concern of its best attention and care. endlessly and remorselessly seeks to please the beloved in 1,000 ways. Does not hesitate to welcome suffering in order to satisfy but one wish of the beloved, or to relieve the beloved of the slightest pain of neglect or indifference. The lover would gladly pine and perish for the sake of the beloved. Careworn and tormented love waits not to attend to the very body that houses, nourishes it. It brooks no compromise, and the beloved is the concern of the lover's lifetime. The tabernacle of love bursts under unmanageable restlessness and gives birth to streams of love and supreme sweetness until the lover breaks through his limitations and loses himself in the being of the beloved. When love is deep and intense, it is called bhakti or devotion. Its initial stages, devotion is expressed through simple worship. Supplication before the deities of reverence and allegiance to the highest scriptures, or the pursuits of the highest through abstract thinking. In its more advanced stages, devotion expresses itself as interest in human welfare and the service of humanity, having reverence for saints and allegiance and obedience to a spiritual master. The stages have their relative values and relative results. Love for a living perfect master is a unique stage of devotion, for it eventually gets transformed into para-bhakti, or divine love. Para-bhakti is not merely intensified bhakti, it begins where bhakti ends. The stage of para-bhakti devotion is not only single-minded, but is accompanied by extreme restlessness of the heart and a ceaseless longing to unite with the beloved. It is followed by lack of interest in one's own body and its care, isolation from one's own surroundings, and utter disregard for appearances or criticism, while the divine impulses of attraction to the beloved become more frequent than ever. The highest phase of love is most fruitful because it has as its object the one who is love incarnate and who can, as the supreme beloved, respond to the lover most completely. The purity, sweetness, and efficacy of the love that the lover receives from the master contributes to the insuperable spiritual value of this highest phase of love. Okay, there are great discourses given by Baba. I think one of the spiritual discourses which were given in the past 10,000 years, at least to my understanding. And it's available. And what I think is all this study of mental reading, when we read the material by the perfect master, advanced souls and the avatar, etc., we form a personal communion with them. They watch us while we're reading the material. I've had this experience in the past while doing translations for various masters. I did work not only for Meher Baba, I was requested to do work for others, or I felt that I should do it for other schools of spirituality for various reasons. contributing for the community. For the example, I came to Baba through the Anthroposophical Society, an offshoot of Theosophy, and I felt inclined to go back and help them with their translations and editing of the works of Dr. Rudolf Stein. This thing was quite, he did incredible work. And so I've been doing the work, explaining the in-depth wisdom of the book of Moses. I've been working on it the past 20 years under Baba's influence. So of course, we have many schools where we can practice. We can go to any school whatsoever of any religion or system or whatever we feel we feel comfortable with our heart. But we have to discern. There's not even a slightest tinge of coercion, fear, manipulations, etc., which exist in many of these organizations, because there's what's happening again and again. When we develop a school of thought, eventually somebody is thriving from it. You don't need to go to work. You work so hard in the physical realm and teach people, which is wonderful, but not once. Are people really dedicated to help their students advance, at least to their stage. People who, for example, our Jewish schools reaching incredible states of consciousness that we, Bauhaus, don't know how to reach. And I'm saying it because I had some involved in such groups, Kabbalists, people who are doing severe work in mystical Judaism. Also, they know it's not as simple. It's developing CDs, spiritual powers. It's dangerous business. They're aware of it. And some of these schools are really pure, some not so. And such things exist in all streams of life, and you can feel comfortable with your spiritual home, or you feel comfortable with any religion, and if you keep make sure that all these evil sisters don't exist, so then take part of it. It will bring you forward. If you don't feel comfortable doing this work alone, you feel comfortable or encourage working with a group, study, meditate together, etc. That's wonderful. Why not? Some of us are doing it also in the Bible community. Some feel more inclined to work alone. As long as we study the issues of how to erase sanskaras. And the best thing is simply to concentrate. If fortune becomes the divine beloved, concentrate on him, give him all our sanskaras on a daily basis. Don't keep any grudges against anyone. Actually, don't have any slight grudge whatsoever in your heart or mental or whatever. This is what I've been searching according to Baba's instructions to me. Not to harbor any grudges whatsoever, because any grudge will prevent me to enter the realm of love, which is the realm of the avatar, and then we enter this realm. We stay with his realms for keeps. And this is his gift, the avatar has given to humanity. So it's a very first question to my humble understanding. Just imagine wherever you are, doesn't matter who you are, that's to do with spiritual advancement. If you enter this realm, condition you don't keep any gods, then you continue on an ongoing march, serving his cause, under his supervision, under his nada. And the rest is just a routine, who cares? Remain his. And unfortunately, to my, as I was sensed or experienced from him, from Baba himself, that many are losing it due to constant judgment, criticism of others. Then I see as a people who associate with Meher Baba, judging politicians, cursing them, swearing at them, and I could see that they're sipping the sanskar of those individuals, and I told them stop doing it, and they just brushed me off. You know what you're doing, and I could see it. Quite obviously, they will lose this opportunity, and this is really heartbreaking. Want peace on earth, want what I call it, they don't want peace on earth, they want happy egoism and the so-called mukti. Tell you quite honestly, there's no such a thing as mukti, meaning escaping or shoving off spiritual responsibility. Die, take Baba's name, you will not be born again, then you stay, you'll be stationed on some pink cloud doing what? It's just, to my knowledge, there's no such a thing. But if Avatar wants somebody doesn't want somebody to keep on reincarnating, it's his business. There's nothing to say about this. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care about this stuff. It never crossed my mind. I just hopefully in this lifespan trying to do whatever I was destined to do for him, and hopefully I will have more opportunities after this sojourn, this particular chapter of existence. I have no concern whatsoever with this. I don't care. In this regard, I'm free. Anyway, bound to the world. I told once, don't steal into my communication with him because I was supposed to communicate with him while doing the translation work on behalf of the trust. One day I sent him a letter. I realized Meher Baba is the highest of the high. I never want to be liberated from him. And you tell me what else there is. As far as I'm concerned, it sums it all. Thank you very much, my dear. Let's stop the recording.